So how do you transition from basketball to making some of the most famous turkey legs on the planet? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Turkey legs and Turkey Leg Hut and this business is something that I'm passionate about.
Nakia and husband Lynn started this culinary adventure in 2015. Their setup, a little smaller, off 610 behind Cavender's Western Wear.
We were shuttling people into the rodeo, and we had a barbecue pit on the field, and that's what we were selling: turkey legs, boudin, and sausage on a stick, and here we are.
Still making some of the most unique dishes you'll ever see.
Why'd you pick this particular cuisine?
I don't think we picked it, it chose us.
Portions so impressive, they come from all over to taste.
My friend and I actually came from Atlanta this morning and decided to come here, and it was the best thing we could have ever did.
The Cajun rice is fantastic. It's got the crawfish, mac and cheese, and the turkey leg just falls off the bone.
Okay, I'm gonna try to pick it up so you can see what happens. Look at that. That's why no knives are needed in here.
Not at all.
Still waiting for one special customer.
I think when Beyonce comes,
Is that your invitation? Look in the camera and say, hey.
hey, Beyonce, next time you're in town, next time you come home, make sure you come to the Turkey Leg Hut.
8 o'clock in the morning, turn your phone in as soon as you hit that door. I'm not gonna tell y'all. As soon as you hit that door, turn your phone in. Why? Because you're on my clock then. I'm telling y'all from this point on, it ain't by catching y'all at home. If I catch you after 9 with your phone, you're fired. And take it for what it is. And I'm gonna take what come with it. And I'm telling you what it is. So I'm telling you, from tomorrow on, if you get that tap from one of the managers, I'm not gonna play with you fired.
Anytime I come on the block, just know one thing. I ain't coming on the block to bullshit. I'm coming on the block to take over. And y'all know what that means. If you a street hustler, you know what that means. When I come on the block, I came to take over.
Oh, she implemented the dress code because she didn't want her looking at women and da-da-da-da. It was him. It was his idea.
Ain't gonna lie, it
was his idea.
This is Creole Kisses with the latest in celebrity news updates. Today I will be reporting a local story concerning the Turkey Leg Hut owners, Nakia and Lynn Price. They started their business back in 2016 when they would create monster turkey legs at the Houston Rodeo. And then a couple of years later, they turned their side hustle into one of the most famous eateries, which has attracted many celebs, professional athletes, and a lot of long lines. As of recent, Nakia states she is splitting from her husband Lynn, stating she has been suffering from abuse. She says she's been quiet for so long and can no longer hold back her silence. She's been fighting behind closed doors, pretending to the world that everything is perfect, but it's too much to bear. She goes on to state that she has suffered at the hands of her husband, allegedly. She explained the abuse, the manipulation, the lies, deceit, and gaslighting. And the world thinks he's a man that stands on business. She says, but y'all are sadly mistaken. After Nakia announced their breakup, her husband Lynn has spoken and states that she's being emotional. Check this out.
Really? Really? I'm a man with no emotions. I'm a man with no emotion. I'm a man with no emotion. Man, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You better stop it. Stop it. Women and their emotions. Everybody know I ain't got no emotions. Everybody know I ain't got no emotions. I'm built like that. I ain't got no emotions. I ain't gonna lie. But I ain't fucked up on the hustling side. I can tell you that. A lot of niggas are fucked up on the hustling side. You can get emotions, but you can't get hustle. Understand that? I'm fucked up on the emotional side because I know how to hustle. Understand that?
Around 4 months ago, I believe it was around December now, I released a video entitled Permanently Closing. And it was a video that I did on the Turkey Leg Hut and everything that happened with that disaster of an empire that started but never really got its wings. And it was all due to two of the most incompetent owners that I've ever seen handle a restaurant or business for that matter. Now, that video went on to do over 200,000 views, right? So a lot of you are familiar with who we're talking about today. But for those of you who are not, let me introduce you to somebody that is more than a little bit sketchy, right? His past and his affiliations aren't exactly someone that I would consider to be a man of nobility or a man of uprightness, right? But before we get there, there's something that I gotta show you, right? Because I want to take you all back to where this all started and how this guy ended up in the predicament that he's in now, where he's getting smoked in a court of law. Okay, so just bear with me for a second, and I want to take you back in time. All right. Pay attention.
New developments now on a story that we first brought you last week. An explosion at a bar in southwest Houston that sent debris flying everywhere. This morning, new surveillance video is being released. Channel 2's Vincent Crivelli joining us now live from downtown Houston with new information that Houston firefighters are releasing. Vince, good morning.
Andy, good morning. The video evidence is compelling. It shows 4 men pouring out gasoline all over the bar. On June 12th, there was a massive explosion at bar 5015 in the 3rd Ward. Arson investigators say the explosion was intentionally set, and they have evidence.
4 unidentified males walked into the 5015 bar. Each one was carrying a 5-gallon container of ignitable liquids.
Right now, local agencies are coordinating with the FBI and ATF to track.
These fools got on hoodies, and in order to conceal their identity, they felt like pulling the drawstrings closed on the hoodies was enough to camouflage their face so that they would be unrecognizable in the lens of the cameras. These are the types of idiots that you hired to do this job. Keep that in mind as we see how this played out. But what a fucking group of fucking clowns.
Down those responsible.
We do have several calls coming in, but we hope with the help of the media, with the help of the public, that we'll be able to complete this investigation.
Authorities are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS.
This fool tied a shirt
Message
around
to the
his
suspects
face.
is, again, we're going to have every resource that we have available here, as well as our partners from the ATF that are partnering us in this investigation, and we're going to bring that to bear to ensure that we that we solve this incident, and we make the point that this is not going to be tolerated in this community.
And investigators believe that the suspects were so close to the explosion that they may have suffered burns. Reporting live downtown, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Vincent.
All right, so we had the 5015 bar blow up, okay? And this happened due to an explosion that was set off by 4 men that showed up on camera pouring gallons of gasoline out onto the restaurant deck and into the restaurant on its floors, and subsequently we see what happened. The place was blown up, it was set ablaze, and we had this news article come out, right? But at the time, nobody knew anything about what happened, really, right? I mean, somebody knew, but nobody was really talking. Yeah, 4 individuals showed up. It looked like at least 2 of them were black, 2 of them were white, or possibly Mexican, who knows, right? But all we had were images to go off of. We knew anytime you get the ATF involved, this is a serious crime. We're talking felony charges. This is not you setting a small little bush fire in the back of your fucking backyard. This is major. So of course they were going to go all out in trying to find out who exactly was stupid enough to not only do this, but do this on camera, right? Got it. So now that brings us up to speed with this article that we're about to watch right now. Let's take a look.
We begin with breaking developments in the saga of a once popular Houston restaurant. Good afternoon, I'm Lisa Hernandez.
Adam Andy Sirota, KPRC2 was the first this afternoon to report indictments against the former owner of the Turkey Leg Hut. Lindell Price was arrested Thursday on multiple charges, accused of paying someone to burn down a business partner's restaurant. Our Bryce Newberry was in the courtroom this afternoon for Price's appearance. Bryce, what have we learned?
Yeah, Andy and Lisa, we know that fire happened nearly 5 years ago at Bar 5015 in the Museum District. And today, Lynn Price, who is the former owner of the Turkey Leg Hut, the co-owner, he has been accused of orchestrating and paying others to start that fire. He was arrested yesterday, a source tells me, during a traffic stop after he left his girlfriend's house in the Katy area. And when they took him into custody, that source says that he was in tears. Take a look at this video we have from that fire that happened back in June of 2020. People nearby say that they felt an explosion when that happened, and surveillance video captured masked men pouring fluids around the bar before it went up in flames. Buildings and homes near that scene also had damage, and according to the federal indictment just unsealed, Lynn Price conspired and paid others to burn the place down. Armani Williams and John Lee Price, who is not related to Lynn, allegedly bought gasoline, gas cans, and face coverings at a truck stop, and then they drove to the bar early in the morning back in June of 2020 and started that fire. 3 minutes after the fire ignited, the indictment alleges that Lynn Price got a call that the arson was complete. He allegedly paid them later that day, and federal prosecutors allege that Lynn Price targeted a former co-owner of the Turkey Leg Hut and his own business partner, all for financial gain. So John Lee Price, who allegedly started and got paid for that fire, and his attorney just spoke with us outside of court this afternoon.
This is a classic example of being very mindful of the company that you keep. Sometimes the company that you keep can get you in trouble. We look forward to looking into the charges, investigating the charges, and ensuring that Mr. John Lee Price's rights are protected.
So John Lee Price and Armani Williams have been released on bond this afternoon, but Lynn Price is being held in federal custody. We did see him in the courtroom today. He was handcuffed and shackled. His mother was also in the courtroom. She didn't want to say anything to the cameras as she left later on, but he will be back in federal court next week for a detention hearing that'll determine what happens going forward. He does face up to 25 years in federal prison, and prosecutors say that additional unnamed people have also been charged in this arson, this conspiracy. However, they have not yet been arrested, so they have not yet been identified. We are live downtown this afternoon. I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
Peace. All right, so let's bring this back, right? Let's put everything in a context now that we have all the pieces of this puzzle. Y'all remember when I played some of you will remember this. I played a small clip of Lindell Price and his wife at the time talking, and they were talking on the Breakfast. No, it wasn't the Breakfast Club. It was another. It might have been the Breakfast Club. Anyway, they were doing an interview, right? And they were asking this couple. They were asking him and his wife about how they had become so successful in their business, right? And all I heard during the entire process was the arrogance of both of them. Not just Lindell. It was the wife as well. And you know what I had? I had a lot of people show up in that last video. The video that I did on them, on the Turkey Leg Hut. And they said, oh, it wasn't the wife. It was the husband. It was the husband who was a financial risk. It was the husband who was a problem. But either y'all didn't watch the full video, where I also talked about his wife's terrible business practices and her lavish spending on lavish things with her money, and her bad business practices that she had with friends, and how she borrowed money from them and took money from them and never paid them back. Both of these people ended up together somehow. Well, it's not somehow. They were both one and the same. That's how they ended up together. Both stupid, both bad with money, both arrogant, and both of them thought they knew what they were doing when in terms of running a business, and they had no fucking clue. This is what happens when y'all want to be entrepreneurs and don't go through the necessary steps in order to get to the point in the position to where you can put yourself up on that pedestal to where you know how to handle and run and operate a business. See, a lot of y'all think you can just go out, open up a spot, and be like, oh, I'm a business owner now. I know everything. Oh, I'll do it myself. I don't need to consult with anybody. I don't need to hire anybody to tell me or teach me about how to handle this money and what to do with it. I don't need to hire anybody to teach me how to file away cases and how to manage my budget for this place or for this business. I can do all that myself. That's what they said. Both of them. The husband and the wife. Both stupid. But Lindell Price is incredibly stupid. I don't know what she saw in this dude, but from day one, he was an arrogant, foolish man who thought that he could run a business just because he wanted to. Just because he wanted to. No other skills, no other practice. He didn't go learn about this anywhere. He didn't go to school for it. Go watch the video. They were arrogant in talking about how they didn't do any schooling to run a business. They were arrogant in talking about how they didn't do anything or go through any of the normal processes of finding out how to run a business and what you need to do in order to maintain a business and run it efficiently, effectively, and financially, and be fiscally responsible in running that business. He had no fucking clue what he was doing. Neither did his wife. And now look what happened. So now, turns out, back in 2020, when the world was dealing with COVID, Lindell Price said, you know what? The world is wearing masks. I think that now is the perfect time to hire 4 idiots to go get gasoline at a truck stop, fill up 5-gallon cans, and then take it to my ops restaurant and burn that bitch down. Lindell thought that he was playing a real life mission of GTA. That's what Lindell thought. Lindell thought that life was just like a video game. He took GTA to heart for real in real life. He said, oh, I'm pretty sure this is a mission on GTA. You know what? I could probably do this in real life. And so he went and hired 4 goofies to go fill up gas cans and burn down his ops place of business. The whole entire time, could you imagine being in business with somebody who not only hates your fucking guts, but they're willing to go so far as to burn down your place of business, all because they're mad that they got ousted from a restaurant because they were completely incompetent, both financially, mentally, or otherwise? Could you imagine being involved with somebody like that? Lindell Price is probably, on a scale of people that I've done videos on, as far as stupidity goes, he's up there. Lindell Price is like top 3 of the dumbest people that I've ever done videos on this channel. He's up there. Top 3 for sure. So now he's gotten exposed, and he's facing up to possible 25 years worth of prison time. At his age, Lindell can't afford 25 years of prison time. He can't afford it. But he don't have a choice now. It's too late. I believe they're going to prosecute him for every fucking thing that he's worth. He's already been in trouble with the law before. He said that in the last video too. So you already have prior offenses with the law. You were supposed to have turned your life around and came up and got it out the mud, as y'all said, you and your wife say. Y'all bragged about getting it out the mud and not having to go to school and not having to go and get degrees, and they bragged about it. They wore it like a badge of honor. And that's why the fucking restaurant failed. That's why it's closed now. That's why he couldn't run a successful business. If you go and look back and research the history on Lindell Price, every business that he's opened has failed because he didn't want to go through the proper channels in order to find out how to maintain those businesses. He didn't think he had to. He thought he was too smart. Thought he was smarter than the program. Thought he was bigger than the program. You're never bigger than the program. You're never bigger than the program, especially not Lindell Price. But this is a prime example of another nigga getting smoked in court because he felt like that he was bigger, smarter, and more intelligent than not only the business, but he thought he was smarter than people that would come and investigate him for the crimes that he committed. He thought that he was the smartest nigga in the room everywhere he went. That was Lindell Price. Well, now you get to prove it. Except now, you get to prove that you're the smartest thing in the room in a case full of people and men that want your booty hole. So good luck in there. Good luck in there. Y'all drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this. I thought that this was... I couldn't believe the headline when I saw it. I'm like, no way. They got to be fucking making this up at this point. No way is Lindell that stupid. But no, turns out he actually is. Anyway, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about it. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Later, y'all.